Hi Scorpio, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your cards for January of 2021. These readings are late. Over Christmas, my family got diagnosed with COVID, me and my two children, and the other child broke his foot, just for shits and giggles. So, it's been a couple of weeks for me. I'm just starting to get my energy back. So I do as many as I can a day, which is averaging about one if I'm lucky. So just getting my water signs out. We're going to work on air next. So guys, the good news is that it's 2021. That 2020 is over, finally, thankfully. Although we're not really out of the woods yet. We're not really out of the woods until March. As you could see, there's still so much going on, and the news, politically. And this is what I tell everybody, that 2021 isn't really going to be a year where anything calms down. It's a 5-year. So if anything, the changes will be crazier and more rapid, but it won't feel as heavy as 2020 did. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, if there's good news, something you can kind of hang your hat on, it's that 2021 will be a better year for sure. Now I say that to you guys with a little bit of gritted teeth, because I think of all of the astrological signs, Scorpio might have maybe the most change ahead of them. I really don't want to put this in a negative light. You have the blessing of Uranus, so there's so much in the next year that you are going to find freedom from. And most likely by the end of 2022, your life will be completely different in so many ways. But this year, the big star of the show is a Saturn-Uranus square. It's going to take place 3 times. But these are really big transits. They last a while, and we're kind of working through things as we get into them. So the first square is going to obviously bring things to the surface. The second square will kind of solidify things, and the third square is the closing square or the outcomes. So as you could tell, it's not like a quick moving thing. This is going to be an all year long theme. And looking at these cards, I would say that you're in a pretty good spot. Now, interesting thing about this square is that it's a 4th house, 7th house square. This is particularly rough. Now, my 6 signs are really going to be feeling it because you are hosting Uranus. So Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius can all expect a little bit more of a turbulent year. Scorpio, because of your placements, this 4th house, 7th house square is going to be a lot about your emotional needs and wants and how that fits in with other people's. You've got a square between your emotional self, your 4th house, your home, and your partner or the people that you work with. Now, this can also be clients. It doesn't have to be all about love or work or romance. This could be about needing to move. I think that for a lot of people in 2021, you're going to see a lot of migration patterns. You're going to see a lot of people realizing they don't need to live in the cities that they live in. You're going to see people moving because of school systems. Oh my God, people are actually moving so that they could vote. So nothing surprises me, and there's a lot of reasons, and maybe some of my Scorpios are going to find a new home. Maybe a larger type of move or transformation is coming your way. There could be a lot about commitments, and there could be commitments headed your way as well. It's all about family and your priorities to the other people in your life. And it seems to be your emotional life will most likely take precedence over any kind of financial security or school projects or anything like that. I think you're going to be a little bit in your heart space for 2021. And I think that that's a positive thing. I think it's something for Scorpios to look forward to. Looking at these cards in front of me, it certainly feels as though Scorpio is kind of warming up. Their hearts are opening, they're believing, kind of, I don't want to say buying into the fairy tale, but I think for a lot of Scorpios, you know, really beautiful things are happening within your relationships, and it's starting to make you realize that you don't have to be as cynical maybe as you were in the past. You don't have to carry that emotional baggage and that anger anymore. 2020 kind of really did its job. If you haven't let go to that stuff, if you haven't let go of your doubts or your cynicism, January and February will definitely wring the final bit of that out, so don't worry. Let's get into your cards. You, Scorpio, are coming out as a Knight of Cups. So like I said, there's a super romantic vibe. Now, it doesn't have to be love, but your archetype card is also that of Eros, which is indicative of love. There's sexuality, although it can be platonic as well. It's the kind of love that changes you, to say the least. It's the love where you could kind of be yourself, or maybe it's a kind of love where you're feeling stuff you've never really felt before, or that you knew it was possible. Sometimes I look at that level of love and it's something indicative of being a new parent, you know. Oftentimes it's those moments, even, you know, it doesn't have to be of a sexual nature, but it is those moments where you realize how profound the love is for other people. That being said, if it is not a new child, if it is not a new friendship of some sort, or a new hobby, or something that you're truly falling in love with, then it's probably safe to say this is a partner. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a new partner. However, I am picking up a changing vibe within the relationship. So maybe there is a falling back into love, a reconnection of some sort, which is what I'm kind of feeling with this. It certainly caught my eye that the Eros card is in the center there, if you can look. There's a set of lips, and inside the lips is a diamond. So for some of you, this could be about considering engagement of some sort. Maybe somebody's planning on proposing to you, although I really do pick this up as your energy. Energy can also, it can always be vice versa. So if that resonates a little bit more with you guys, then that's probably the case. Marriage might be on the table in January. There's definitely a change within this relationship. Now, the interesting thing is the Knight of Cups is coming out right over the first card, and that is the Death card in reverse. And this is going to kind of be the theme of 2021. 2020 allowed us to be stagnant. In fact, it insisted on it. Death card in reverse and the Seven of Pentacles, right? This is sort of the epitome of 2020. You know, the change is coming, but the change actually didn't occur. However, what you did get was a lot of delays, a lot of obstacles, a lot of overcomplicating situations that probably didn't need to be that complicated to begin with. There's sort of jumping through hoops when I look at these cards. Now, the Death card in reverse is obviously some kind of a resistance, and because it comes right above the Knight of Cups, this tells me that there's probably been an area in your life that you've been somewhat resisting for some time now. Resisting the change. Maybe this is you knowing that you know, again, I'm looking at the 4th house, 7th house squares that are being set up. Now, the first square won't occur until mid-February, but I promise you that all of January is really about kind of setting the stage for that. Setting the stage for that, as well as the moon phases. Now, we have a beautiful new moon coming up in your 3rd house in Capricorn, but it is conjunct Pluto. And the Death card is the card of Pluto. So there might be some conversations, third house, some paperwork even that needs to be done. You know, maybe this is you putting your house on the market. Maybe this is you ending some kind of a contract. Maybe this is something that you've been putting off for a little while. Like I said, this could be the consideration of moving, or, you know, whatever it is that you were planning on doing in 2020, and yet you weren't able to accomplish in 2021. It gets brought up. And I think you start to view it in a much different way than you have been, which is why 2020 was so important. You know, had we been given the opportunities that we will be given in 2021 before everything in 2020 occurred, we may have handled things much differently. We may have said no to things that we're very much meant to say yes to, and vice versa. So it's important that the universe kind of followed this logic, kind of took us down this path. Like, we had to meet a different part of ourselves before we can come here and kind of handle what the universe has planned next. But this feels like a lot of delays and a lot of denial. In some pretty serious instances, it's easy to say, you know, maybe this is handling, this could even be delaying the big conversations, delaying the big plans. You know, what are we going to do? Having those conversations maybe with a significant other, because again, this is a 7th house transit. If we're talking about possibilities of marriage or possibilities of cohabitating in some way, then this is obviously the laying down of plans. Now with the 7 of Pentacles there, it looks like there was a lot of delays and obstacles, like I said. And I have a feeling these things are getting better. There will be less delays. There will be less confusion. There will be less obstacles in front of you. Things will start to work out a little bit better. Now, also a reminder that we will be dealing with a retrograde Mercury at the end of the month as well. So anybody that's putting their house up for sale, of course, I never tell anybody to, you know, stop life. We have 4 retrogrades a year, so you know, you can't put it off. You can't put life off. But if this is you in some way, if you're looking at renting or buying or purchasing a home or any kind of contracts that you're dealing with, pay extra close attention to them during those retrograde periods. Definitely read over all of the paperwork. And I always advise, and especially, I know this is kind of off the wall here, but you did pull this card number 40 of co-create. And sometimes I see that as maybe needing to get some kind of professional advice. Maybe this is hiring a lawyer or a real estate agent or somebody with the expertise to kind of have your back. Also picking that up with your other oracle card with the scales here with Libra. So don't hesitate that. You know, if you have a hunch or if you have a feeling that maybe you should have somebody kind of put a second set of eyes on things, please do not deny that of yourself. It could save you a lot of headaches in the long run. Now, right underneath this oracle card, a win-win outcome is in the forecast, full moon in Libra. Okay, so this is definitely about relationships when it comes to Libra. And Libra is also your 12th house. And you have the 4 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups. And this is exactly what I meant about how things would have gone a lot differently had all of these opportunities come a year ago. Okay, you, with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, I love to see that. I love to see that because, like I said, it feels like a heart chakra opening. Having faith in love again, having the ability to share, the ability to receive love. Four of Pentacles in reverse is kind of letting go. It's surrendering the control issues. Maybe this was, in a lot of ways, the Four of Pentacles could just be insisting that things go your way. Maybe this is a lot of insisting that you live in a certain neighborhood or a certain type of house, or making excuses for why you weren't ready to make these moves. I know the last couple of Scorpio readings has definitely been about, you know, the 8th house transits with the North Node in your 8th house, and about sharing and becoming more intimate on a day-to-day basis with other people. It's sharing the stuff. It's about balancing the checkbook, making a budget work between two people. It's like, you know, the nitty-gritty of marriage. It's not the honeymoon, it's not the contract, it's like the living stuff. And I feel like the more and more that Scorpio kind of relinquishes their control, which is really the answer for all of 2021, you know, like I said, my fixed signs are definitely going to get hit, and the tendency for a fixed sign to kind of hesitate and resist change is pretty good, right? Like, that's not exactly your favorite thing to do. But Scorpio, you are really good at it. This is an opportunity to recreate yourself. This is an opportunity to rebuild from the, you know, the basement up. You're building strong foundations, even if this is a job. This is just a new phase of your life. Maybe you are introducing children into your life. And so when that happens, like I said, the priorities kind of recreate themselves. If you're falling in love, if you're having children, if you're buying the houses, there is no doubt that the priorities will just sort of start to change on their own. And suddenly, the most important thing to you in the world probably isn't what you have in the bank account. And it probably isn't the car that you drive, or, you know, it's probably a little more profound than that. It's probably in the heart space. It's probably more or less about the people that sleep under your roof, and the people that you want to take care of for a really long time, and the life that you want to build together. And I just feel like this is Scorpio finding the integration to kind of make these things work in their lives, opening up to all of the possibilities. A win-win outcome is forecast, and that's what I see. This is kind of the ending of these obstacles because you're allowing the change to occur. There's no coincidence that we have the 2 cards representing control and change. Now, the final 2 cards that you have out is the 8 of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Now, the 8 of Pentacles is kind of coming out in that warning place. And I feel like with that, with the 8 of Pentacles there, that maybe it might be easy to kind of get lost into work this month. It could be easy to kind of get lost in the daily stuff, you know. You've got so much going on emotionally. You've got so much going on as far as major life changes. And I really feel like this is kind of a lot of January and February. You also need to pay attention to work, okay? The 8 of Pentacles. Now, this could be a lot of different things, making sure that you're keeping up with the day-to-day stuff at work. You know, if you own your own business, making sure that the taxes are done. If this is you, this could be you personally getting your taxes done, getting things in on time, not losing receipts or important paperwork or documents. Like I said, sensing this retrograde Mercury kind of coming. That could really complicate things for you. So just trying to make sure that you are organized. 8 of Pentacles here as well can be indicative of you kind of getting lost in your flow. Now, I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing. You know, it's never a bad thing when we're kind of lost in the flow doing what we really love and enjoy. But there's a lot of things going on here. And so you do want to stay vigilant to the people around you and what's going on in their lives. Because remember, we're sharing. We're in the Two of Cups this month. So it's really important to check in with your significant other, check in with your children or the people that you know, that you're closest to. Check in on people, have those conversations, open up. Don't just get lost in the work, okay? As well, be careful with your scheduling. Don't plan on moving mountains in January and February. I know there's always going to be, and there always is, that overwhelming push in January. Like, you want to get the year started off right. You want to accomplish things. You want to start a new schedule, you know, and I always say it's so easy to disappoint ourselves that way when we have these great big grandiose expectations. Like, all of a sudden, because it's 2021, I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m. every day and work out for an hour before I go to work. Yeah, it sounds great. Usually it doesn't make it past like the first 3 weeks in January. And I think that it's important when I see this card to know that you're setting and maintaining some pretty normal or at least attainable goals. Things that you can keep up with. It's not a time to get down on yourself. And so you don't want to create that situation where you're getting down on yourself either. You don't want to give yourself any more reason to feel disappointed, right? It's not about having to change your life all of the sudden in all these different ways. It's about opening up and letting life kind of change you. Now, interesting, your outcome card is that of the High Priestess. Couple of things that I'm picking up on here. One is, I think that you're going to start to put the pieces together. By the end of the month, we're going to have a full moon in your, your 10th house. Okay. Full moon at the end of the month in your 10th house. This is your house of career, destiny, life path, and purpose. Still probably some things that need to be let go from that arena. Maybe that's, you know, if you were planning on moving a great distance, changing your work in some way, then the end of the month might actually be the putting in your resignation or doing like the official thing. This might be you kind of telling people what's going on, you kind of painting the picture, making the decisions, informing others of the changes in your life. The High Priestess can also represent, you know, you starting to trust yourself, starting to trust the bigger decisions in life, starting to trust your gut feelings. And when this card comes out, it's really important that you do that. It's not a good time. Like I said, it's not a good time to be questioning yourself. I think you're operating from an instinct with that Knight of Cups. Oftentimes I see somebody who's kind of highly invested. Like I said, sometimes you're coming out with this vibe of like needing to protect the people that you love, needing to make things really official, and I think that these are all really good things. These are really good gut instincts that you're following. Definitely a lot of movement. It's not a stagnant month at all, but it is very much about other people and how you integrate them into your life. Now, just above this Eight of Pentacles, again, is this card co-create, meaning that you're entering a time in your relationships where other people are going to play a really big role in your life. You know, this is indicative of the life partner, the spouse. And suddenly it's not just about you, like where do you want to move? Where have you always wanted to live? What have you always wanted to do? Now it becomes, you know, another person's dreams too that you're putting together and you're sharing. Co-create card, oftentimes it's about co-creating with spirit, which we always do. But I think this, especially coming out next to the full moon in Libra, I think this is all about integrating two different people's lives, dreams, and visions into one lifetime. This is the mending and the merging that happens once you make that ultimate decision. The thing is, when you really begin to love somebody, when you really begin to want to share your life with somebody, all of a sudden those things aren't so much of a sacrifice. Maybe giving up some things that you thought you'd always wanted to do isn't such a big deal as long as you have the people that you want in your life. Now, the final card in the overall energy is Ace of Cups. So there is a lot of love here. Overwhelmingly, there's a lot of love in this scenario. It's a really beautiful feeling. Scorpio, I think that you're coming into a time of something really warm and fuzzy. It kind of reminds me of how I felt about my house before I was stuck in it for 3 weeks. A safe haven. I think you're entering a really beautiful period of your life. I think there's a significant relationship, maybe a couple. Maybe this is a spouse and your children, but whatever it is, it seems to be a cozy time of comfort and love and refuge from somewhat of a cruel world. And I think that Scorpio has earned this, and I'm very, very happy to see such a beautiful and positive reading coming up for you guys in 2021. There is no doubt my Scorpios are really going to enjoy this year much more than 2020, to say the very least. All right, Scorpios, I'm going to leave it there. I'm starting to have a hard time talking and breathing. I really do hope you guys have a wonderful January. I will be back for the mid-month readings, and then I'll be back for February. Take care, guys. Lots of love. Bye.